As the Russian invasion intensifies in Ukraine, more than 2 million refugees have now fled the country, according to the United Nations. Ukrainian officials say humanitarian corridors have now opened to evacuate civilians from 5 key cities. So let's take a closer look now at Russia's proposed evacuation routes. They've been dismissed by Ukraine. 4 of the suggested safe corridors go to the east, to Russia or to Belarus. The other 2 routes take those fleeing further into Ukraine. And these are pictures of civilians fleeing the northeastern city of Sumy. An airstrike there, we understand, has killed at least 21 people. President Zelensky saying a convoy has been sent towards the southern port city of Mariupol to rescue civilians who've been living without running water or power for almost a week. Let's take you straight to Lviv now in western Ukraine. We can join my colleague who is there, Yelda Hakim. Yelda.
Lucy, thank you. And we're almost 2 weeks into this conflict and 2 weeks of absolute desperation for the civilians of this country. The number of civilians being killed continues to rise. You mentioned there Sumy in the northeast of the country. Overnight, we've heard dozens of civilians being killed there, including children. There are other parts of this country, like in the south, Mariupol, where people are desperately trying to evacuate, but those humanitarian corridors have not yet been set up. And we've also heard the defiance of President Zelensky. He's continued to come out, give addresses day in, day out. And yesterday we saw him come out of his office to say he's not afraid and that he will continue to fight. Sean Dilley has the latest.
In large parts of Ukraine, the bombardment has been relentless. Civilians hoping to escape the danger have sought whatever shelter they can, as Russian shelling has prevented their escape. Many are hanging their hopes on a new agreement between Russia and Ukraine to create a new humanitarian corridor, which is now in place in the northeast city of Sumy, where 9 people reportedly died yesterday. The ceasefire, which is planned to last until 9 p.m. local time, will mean civilians will be able to travel 175 kilometres south to Poltava. Ukraine's president, though, says he's going nowhere.
Right to life for everyone. That is what we are fighting for in Ukraine.
Later, President Volodymyr Zelensky will plead directly to UK MPs at his request. In an historic first, Ukraine's head of state will be hosted inside the main Commons chamber by video link. He's expected to ask UK lawmakers to do more to help, as the UN believes the number of those fleeing the embattled country will hit 2 million today or tomorrow. So far, the UK government says it's granted visas to 300 refugees, but its defence minister says the process needs to be sped up.
Fundamentally, the overall scheme is going to produce hundreds of thousands of Ukrainians in the United Kingdom, and I think that is a good thing to do. It's not the case that we're only allowing 300 people in. It is the case that the system has not been quick enough.
But while the muzzle cracks and shelling have temporarily stopped in some areas, the economic war rages. IBM is the latest tech giant to pull out of Russia, and a new law to make it easier to sanction oligarchs has passed its first stage in the UK Parliament last night. Meanwhile, the United States says it's exploring a potential ban on Russian oil, but Russia says it would consider closing its gas pipe to Germany in response. This, however, is an unlikely scenario, with Germany and the Netherlands rejecting the idea. Today's agreement between the 2 countries to help more civilians escape through humanitarian corridors will surely be seen as a positive move. But the international community is holding its breath for a way forward as Ukraine and Russia meet for a 4th round of peace talks. Sean Dilley, BBC News.